So here we have it, guys, the all new 3rd generation Fire TV Cube announced today on the Amazon press event. And just straight away I can see, or I'm so happy to see, full size USB port and also a dedicated Ethernet port. Now these are some of the things which we've been asking for a very long time, and it just makes the entire device a lot more compatible, or should we just say a lot more flexible, by giving us these extra ports. On top of that, we can see we now get HDMI in and also HDMI out, and what that means is you can now actually add in your own devices, maybe a console, maybe a receiver box. All of that can be plugged directly into the cube, which you can then fully control from your cube. Now I also have some high quality pictures of both the front and also the back, and I'll give you the direct comparison to the current generation 4K Firestick Max, the previous cube and this new cube. So I don't want to say I called it, but if you look at my previous video, let's see exactly what I said. But really what I would like to see is maybe a full-size USB port, maybe USB 3, maybe USB 3, even a dedicated Ethernet port. So So the exact things I specifically said, we can now see have been fully integrated into this 3rd gen Fire TV Cube. Although we can't confirm it's USB 3 or not, the fact that it is a full-size USB port, it means like adding USB drives, adding USB hubs, all of that will be made so much easier instead of using the micro USB port that we've previously used. On top of that, having that dedicated Ethernet port just means that we don't have to mess about with any adapters or anything like that. Whack in your Ethernet cable, hopefully it will be a gigabit port, and you can now stream all of your high bitrate, very large file sizes directly to your new cube. So really I'm happy and quite impressed that Amazon have actually added these things in. So here we can see the front side of the new cube, and you can see they've actually added in this new texture or this felt material, which actually does look quite nice. They've also bundled the new Alexa Voice Remote Pro. This new remote control is backlit. It also has some extra buttons, I believe 2 of them, which you can reprogram and use for other functions. And the fact that we do have that HDMI input means if you do plug in another box, maybe a game console or a satellite receiver, you can also control some of those functions using that remote control. Now if I just scroll down, now the great thing is they've not actually changed the price. So when this does go live, it will be around about $139 and around about £130. So for a flagship device with all of those features, with that new spec, I think it's a fairly good price. On top of that, as you guys know, for Prime Day and for the other sales, these devices do regularly go on sale, so you may be able to pick this up at a cheaper price. Okay, so we can see it has those multiple microphones built in, so you can control the smart assistant by just using your voice. Now the other great thing we can see here is that they've now added a new processor, which is the octa-core processor. So 8 potential cores you can now be using instead of the previous quad-core processor. But in reality, Amazon say this only translates to 20% performance, but as we know, the Fire TV Cube 2nd generation was already a very fast device, very capable, so to get a 20% performance boost on top of that, I think it's definitely worthwhile calling out. Now I previously predicted that the device must have Wi-Fi 6 because that already exists on the 4K Firestick Max, so it would be crazy for Amazon to release a new device without adding this feature in. But we can see they've actually taken it to the next level and they've added in Wi-Fi 6E. So 6E is even a newer standard which allows greater bandwidth, less congestion, and it means that if you have compatible devices, a compatible router or router, you'll be able to get even faster speeds using this new Wi-Fi 6E standard. So great to see Amazon are actually looking at the latest standards and implementing them into their new devices. Now we also have this, which is also very unexpected, never announced before, but they've now added in some upscaling features. So something we could say along the lines what we see on the Nvidia Shield Pro, that you can actually upscale SD standard definition content to make it look more like 4K. Now we know on the NVIDIA Shield Pros, they use very advanced AR technologies to upscale that content. So I'll be very interested to see how good the new 3rd generation Fire TV Cube is at doing that. So cool feature, but of course it requires testing. And Amazon have now literally just updated their page, so we can now see direct on the Amazon website, the new 3rd generation Cube is listed. Now we can see the UK price is going to be £139. We can see this is the new Fire TV Cube, which has that Wi-Fi 6E, 4K Ultra HD, but also includes that upscaling. Now, just going through the specs here, we can see the ports there, including the extra ports for that Ethernet and also the USB-A port. And now the specs, so unfortunately they didn't increase the RAM, it's still set at 2 gig, and we still have that 16 gig of storage. But as you guys have seen, because we have this full size USB port, it's now going to be super easy. Plug in any USB drive, quickly format that as internal storage, and you can then very easily expand the storage to 128, 256 gig, or even half a terabyte of storage for your Fire TV Cube. So we have the 4K Firestick, still a very, very popular device, and I'm very confident that the majority of my audience still has the 4K Firestick versus something like the 4K Max. So we have the 4K Firestick here, 4K Max, the 2nd gen Cube, and now the 3rd gen Cube. So we now have confirmation, because I did actually make this table before, but we now know for sure that it does have 2 gigs RAM, just like the previous Cube, and we also know that the storage is still on 16 gigabytes. Now, in terms of comparing this to the 2nd generation Fire TV Cube, we can see this has that octa-core processor versus the hexa-core that we had before. The RAM has not really changed. Now the OS is not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Fire OS 7, which as we know is Android 9. I really can't see Amazon now taking this to the next level and going for Android 10 or 11 or even 12. So this is not confirmed, but I do think it's going to stay as Android 9. The storage is the same as the previous Cube. Now the big change, obviously we get that even faster Wi-Fi 6 standard, Wi-Fi 6E, which is even faster than Wi-Fi 6 that we get on the 4K Max. So that is a big jump to go from AC Wi-Fi on the previous Cube to now this new Wi-Fi 6E standard. But on top of that, we do have that dedicated Ethernet port. So if for whatever reason Wi-Fi does not work for you, you can now use a hardwired Ethernet cable without using any of those Amazon adapters. So that is included, although they didn't confirm if that was a gigabit port or a 100 meg, but I'm pretty confident that would be a gigabit port. We also get the new Av1 Decoding, which we did get on the 4K Firestick Max, but that was not present on the older Cube. So as we know, this is a newer standard. YouTube is all over this, so the more devices that we have using it, the better it will be. And we also get this new upscaling feature. I mean, this itself could be that killer feature that makes you instantly want to get this device, because many people still have, older content that they watch. Maybe they have a NAS drive like I do with lots of, older content, maybe content that's not in 4K. So the fact that we now get this upscaling ability built into this new Cube means that our content can look better than ever before. But as I mentioned, this does need to be tried out. I know that the NVIDIA Shield Pro does this very, very well with its AI upscaling. So I'll be very interested to see how the new 3rd generation Fire TV Cube handles it. So overall, guys, we can say it's not a massive revolution in terms of upgrades. We do have 20% faster CPU. We have that newer Wi-Fi standard, but we do have those built-in Ethernet and the full-size USB-A ports. And really, that in itself may be enough for somebody to decide that they want to buy this new Cube. And just before you go, guys, if you don't have a VPN or you're not happy with your current VPN, HyperVanish are doing a crazy promotion just for the next 2 weeks, whereby you can get total protection for all of your devices, your phones, your tablets, your Fire Sticks, your Android TVs, all devices covered at maximum speed, unlimited bandwidth, with confirmed zero data logging at just over $3 a month. So really at that price point to get all of that protection, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. So please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this new Fire TV Cube. Are you impressed with it? or have you completely gone away from the Amazon ecosystem? So do leave me a comment below, let me know, and I'll hopefully catch up with you guys real soon. Thanks.